What's up? This is Malice10 coming to you with another video. So, I already know y'all probably heard the Joe Buddens podcast and all this he been doing to Eminem. Like, basically trying to slander Eminem. Calling basically Kamikaze trash. He probably didn't just say trash, but basically through his criticism, that's what you're getting from him, that it was trash. Now, here's what I think about Joe. Joe is bitter because if you listen to his podcast, he said he signed to Shady Records because he wanted to basically use Eminem name to actually reemerge his career. That's basically what he said. And he expected Eminem to be there on tour with them, promote them, and basically do all the work. But Eminem is just tied to the record label. He's not the complete owner of the record label. Now, there's been Crooked Eye, who came out with his rebuttal to Joe Budden's podcast. Now, he basically sets the record straight, basically saying that Joe Buddens mentally left Slaughterhouse already, and he did not talk to anybody. He just up and left. Now, Joe, what he fails to realize is just because Eminem is tied to Shady Records doesn't mean that he's the one to promote you. He's just a distribution company who you put out records, they put it out. He's always gave shout out to Slaughterhouse. Always. In almost every album he's saying Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse. He's promoting Slaughterhouse through his own album. Now, tell you the truth, nobody even remembers Joe as a rapper. The only thing you remember him as is Pump It Up and Clubbing by Marcus Houston, where he was a feature. And then in a remix, he spit the same line. So nothing significant about Joe ever made it mainstream. Now, of course, he probably had a little following, underground following, but other than that, Joe was never a big artist. So for him to use Eminem's name to push him ahead, you gotta release decent content in order for people to actually listen to you. So he didn't release no decent content that made it mainstream. Eminem didn't stop you from doing that. You stopped yourself. Now, with Joe Budden, he has in his mind that, oh, it's all Eminem's fault that my career didn't take off. Like, you was in the same career for a long time before you even signed to Shady Records. How can you blame Eminem? You can't. It's your fault. If you saw that you wasn't getting promoted on Shady Records, you should have promoted yourself. There's plenty of artists out here that promotes themselves. Look at Tech 9, for example. Tech 9 promoted himself. He did tours himself. And he blew up. And he's on a Forbes list and everything. So, what stopped you? Was it lack of creativity? That's what I'm thinking. Because then Pump It Up and the Marcus Houston song, you have no real content out there. And then for you to actually try to come at Eminem and attack him, hold on, wait. If you listen to, I believe it was either State of the Culture or it was a podcast that he did recently. He said, I didn't listen to Eminem's Revival album because I thought it was trash. That's almost like seeing a cover of a book and saying, oh, that book is going to be boring. I'm not going to read it. You didn't even give the album a chance. You did not even listen to it. I'm one of the people who actually listened to the whole album. The album is pretty decent lyrically. If you actually listen to the whole album of Revival, matter of fact, go back and listen to the whole album, you will see that Eminem was trying to be mature. He wasn't doing all the shady stuff that he was doing on his other albums and everything. He was actually being serious and talking about political issues, almost compared to the 444 album by Jay-Z. He was talking about political issues that was happening in the community. And it's more believable coming from Eminem because he's been in that environment. He was in Detroit, 8 Mile. Detroit is almost like Chicago. So he knows what it like to grow up in the hood. He wasn't one of them rich boys like MGK. I'm not saying MGK was rich, but, you know, privileged. He probably was privileged. But, because they said that he was in Germany and Egypt and stuff like that. So apparently he was doing some traveling because I guess military, his family was in the military or something like that. But if you actually live in that, you wasn't in the hood just like Eminem was. So it's completely different. So Eminem saw the struggles that his friends was going through, that he was going through. So he actually witnessed people getting shot. It's real. But so he, in the Revival album, he's just basically talking about the injustice done to black people as far as police, racism, stuff like that. If you listen to the album and actually listen to the lyrics and get past the beat, which I'm quite sure people was not feeling the beat and the features that he had on that album, which I admit the features was kind of whack, but if you actually listen to the lyrics that Eminem was spitting, it was basically geared toward the injustice going on in the hood. Now, for Joe to actually say that Eminem didn't have anything relevant to say and to make that judgment, and not even listen to the album to see what the album was about shows that Joe is just hating. Joe is jealous, he's hating, and he has no right to actually diss an album just because he saw the features on the album, or he heard the song with Beyonce, Walk on Water, which the lyrics on Walk on Water, if you actually listen to it, is pretty good. I'm not a big Beyonce fan. Care less about Beyonce. But if you actually listen to the lyrics, you'll find out that he's actually talking about it. So everybody, after since y'all already heard the Kamikaze album, y'all need to go back and listen to the Revival album, because he also says in the Kamikaze album that a lot of lyrics went over people's heads. So people saying that, oh, Eminem doesn't know what he's talking about. Go listen to the album. Find out again. Listen to it again. Because I'm quite sure you probably just skimmed through it. But if you actually listen to it, you'll be like, wow, he actually saying some stuff. And the reason why he came out with this Kamikaze album, because y'all dissed his the Revival album. Now, he said he had to return to his shady self, which is Slim Shady, and just trash all the other artists that y'all considered that was good. Which I've been saying from the beginning, these artists nowadays are whack. Yes, they're whack. And yes, Joyner Lucas is one of the best artist, one of the good artists out there. He's very underrated. He should have won a Grammy for I'm Not Racist, which was a very good depiction, especially the video. It was an excellent depiction of two sides to a story. And if you actually listen to a whole bunch of Joyner Lucas albums, it's actually telling a story. So that's what hip hop is. It's telling a story. It's not just, oh, the beat, I gotta listen to the beat. If I'm not clicking with the beat, then it's whack. If you actually go back to the 80s rap hip hop music, you could say their beats wasn't on point either, but the lyrics, the lyrical content was. So people need to go back and listen to that Revival album and then say something about it. But back to Joe. Joe, I don't believe, will respond to Eminem. And like Remy Ma said, he's scared that Eminem will chew him up. There's a reason why artists don't diss Eminem. It's because M was bred to battle rap. That's what he does. And I've been hearing MGK and Joe Budden say basically Eminem haven't dissed anybody relevant, and he just dissed pop stars such as Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, but they forget all about Ja, Cannabis, Benzino. Benzino was whack anyway, but Cannabis is one of the most lyrical artists out there, underrated, but he chewed Cannabis up. Cannabis responded, but it didn't go like he wanted it to, making a whole album about Eminem and everything, people really didn't listen to it. Why? Because M was dissing out more content that destroyed him, destroyed cannabis. So, for Joe to actually say he never dissed anybody relevant is crazy. And also, Joe, if you actually go back and listen to the battle that he did with Hollow the Don, Hollow the Don chewed him up. Now, on both sides, the battle was whack, yes. And it could have been better. But all you heard Joe saying, hold up, stop my time, stop my time, come on, stop my time. I gotta say this, stop my time. Like, this is a battle rap. You don't keep saying stop your time every time you say something and then want to get extra time on the clock. You don't do that. It's battle rap. That's why I know Joe isn't used to battle rapping. So, another thing he kept saying was, besides stop my time, I'm a rapper. I am a rapper. I need to say this. And then once the crowd got tired of it and started booing him, he was like, oh, let me finish. You're not gonna let me finish, then I'm gonna put the mic down. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. What kind of battle rapper does that? Come on. Even Hollow the Don was saying that was a pussy move. So, if you actually go look at the battle, I'm going to put that in the link below so you can actually go look at that battle. It was whack. It was whack. And he didn't have anything relevant to say. And they blew the whole battle rap up as a rapper versus a battle rapper. A regular rapper versus battle rap. Now, M, if he was put in that predicament, which he has been put in plenty of times, he chewed battle rappers up. Joe did not do that at all. Which goes to the other point where saying that M never promoted him. If M never promoted him, he would never gave him the opportunity to actually display his skills on a battle rapping level. So, this is how you know that Joe is very bitter. So, that's what I gotta say about Joe. Joe is a bitter rapper who only had one major hit and thinks he's actually doing stuff with the podcast and the state of the culture, which I gotta speak on that show also. State of the culture with he says coming on that he does unbiased reviews, but that's a lie. That is a lie because he's being very biased towards Eminem. He's not even giving Eminem his props on the album, which was #1 in I don't know how many countries, but it was a whole bunch of countries, especially the US. On the Billboard 200, he was #1. So, that's what I gotta say about Joe. He is very bitter old man, and he needs to stop. Unless he's gonna come out with a diss, which I believe that diss is gonna be crap. Because he haven't done it in a while. He's not a good artist. I'm sorry. He's not a good artist. But that's my opinion about the whole situation. If you like this, make sure you like and subscribe below. Alright? Peace.